Life at Los Alamos, inside the secretive world of scientific pioneers. Imagine being in 1943, right in the midst of World War II. You immerse yourself in a world where scientists from conflicting nations strive to create a weapon that will change the course of history, the key to absolute power. Now you're one of those scientists, working at Los Alamos, the most secretive and mysterious military place on Earth. You and your colleagues have uncovered the crucial formula for the atomic bomb. The task is immense. The coming years will demand unwavering effort. Join me on this journey to explore life inside Los Alamos, the military complex that marked a before and an after in history forever. The recent Oppenheimer film has allowed us to start to imagine life at Los Alamos, learning about the scientists' experiments and tests, their way of life and daily routine. In this video, we'll delve deeper into the lives of both the male and female scientists, as some of the brightest minds behind this project were indeed women, a fact often forgotten by history. The efforts of these brilliant individuals resulted in tremendous advances in many scientific fields, particularly that of physics. But devastatingly, it also led to one of the greatest catastrophes in human history. First on August the 6th, 1945, and then again on the 9th, as just a few days after their final creation, 2 atomic bombs were dropped on Japan, specifically on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In other words, one of mankind's greatest scientific leaps also brought with it the death of approximately 210,000 people. Imagine how those working at Los Alamos felt as the bombs dropped. Because of the need for total secrecy, not everyone working at Los Alamos knew its true purpose. Those scientists who were not direct protagonists of the project, but were tasked with crucial related research, calculations, and testing, knew they were part of something to stop the war, but nothing more. However, the stark reality was that this was a town built from scratch, solely to manufacture the atomic bomb. But in support of this goal, Los Alamos required crucial infrastructure just like any other town. It needed shops, eating places, pharmacies, and even a church, amongst many other establishments, where everyone was completely unaware of what was happening behind closed doors in their nearby private government labs and offices. As for those who knew the truth, they believed it was about manufacturing the bomb to use, at least initially, against Germany. No one imagined that this weapon would ultimately be used on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The news must have brought mixed feelings for many, because while on the one hand, it ended hundreds of thousands of innocent civilian lives, on the other, it also ended the war, something the United States and its allies had been striving for years. Returning to some of the women scientists involved in the project, we should particularly highlight the brilliant nuclear physicist and mathematician Qian Shangwu, who made significant contributions to research on uranium isotope separation. Additionally, Elizabeth Rona, a prominent chemist who played an essential role in the development of techniques for plutonium production. These women challenged the gender stereotypes of the time and demonstrated that scientific excellence knows no gender barriers. Moving away from the historical backdrop against which these scientists lived, let's take a closer look at life in the laboratories of Los Alamos. While there was a lot of academic satisfaction, as there were near constant scientific breakthroughs being made, there was also a climate of anxiety and fear. Scientists were under constant pressure, keeping secrets from their families and close friends, because even the smallest leak of information could give the enemy an advantage. The intensity of work also took its toll. Although by profession, scientists were accustomed to working long hours, here they had to double their efforts because their crucial work was so vital to their country's war effort, and that placed a heavy burden on their shoulders. Some scientists barely took a day off a week in their race against time to create the bomb. If the Germans or the Russians managed to create the bomb first, then all their years of work would have been in vain. And not only that, but capitalism would be eradicated by Russian communism or by German Nazism. Remarkably, the fate of the nation and the free world was, at times, in the hands of scientists who knew nothing about the magnitude of what they were doing. Because, as we mentioned earlier, scientists who were not directly involved in the core Manhattan Project to create the atomic bomb in the middle of the New Mexico desert, but were indispensable for certain tasks, only knew that the project was secret and they were part of the counteroffensive to win the war. Despite being a secret military establishment in the middle of nowhere, the United States government provided the scientists and their families with a small town where all their basic needs were met. While they didn't live in the luxury that the American middle class did in those years, the scientists' children got a good education at specially established schools. For those of a religious persuasion, who were not few in the 40s, there was a church constructed from scratch by the military to attend. There were also recreational and sports facilities, including theatre shows, classes, clubs, and many other forms of entertainment to alleviate the high levels of tension felt by everyone participating in the project, especially when it was genuinely believed that Germany were close to winning the war. Those who still felt uncomfortable with the lack of luxuries on site surely found a degree of compensation in the high salaries that were paid, meaning that after the war was over, they could enjoy a good life elsewhere. Likewise, most probably didn't complain too much, as they were fulfilling the dream of their lives, to be at the forefront of one of the most ambitious projects ever executed by humans. Now, could any scientist participate in the project? The answer is a resounding no. Only the very brightest minds from the United States and its closest allies could be at the forefront of the project. Prominent personalities like Robert Oppenheimer, Enrico Fermi, and Richard Feynman, among other exceptional scientists. The meeting of minds from these brilliant scientists was the key to the project's success. With regard to Robert Oppenheimer, he was one of the scientists who most regretted the consequences of his creation. Subsequently, he attended multiple conferences to speak against future projects involving nuclear arms, discussing the dangers and the proliferation of this powerful device. Of course, there is an inherent contradiction in this viewpoint, as Oppenheimer must have been aware that the atomic device would be used once completed. But if the very inventor of the atomic bomb believed it to be dangerous in the hands of humanity, perhaps governments should ask themselves a similar question. Back to the scientists. While many, at the end of the war with Japan's surrender in 1945, decided to leave Los Alamos and take up research and teaching positions at some of the country's most prestigious institutions, others chose to stay to further contribute to the development of new and more potent nuclear devices, ushering in the modern era of the arms industry and the scientific study of these devices. Some of the scientists who returned home felt guilt for being part of a project that culminated in genuine horrors, while others, satisfied with their work in those long years, saw this experience as a stepping stone to ascend to new areas of knowledge and achieve the scientific authority they desired. Either way, the scientific advancement carried out by these individuals is undeniable, as, in addition to the nuclear device, new scientific knowledge related to nuclear energy emerged, amongst many other inventions and innovations. Today, thanks to nuclear plants, large amounts of electricity can be generated without resorting to oil, gas, or coal, benefiting millions of households. It must also be admitted that today, because of the doctrine of mutually assured destruction brought about by the possession of nuclear weapons, the major powers think twice before confronting another major power, considering both are equally threatened with nuclear devices. Rarely does a military confrontation occur, with commercial and political conflicts being the predominant ones, as exemplified by North Korea against South Korea, or Russia against the United States, and China against the United States. Unexpectedly, these devices have brought about a kind of peace not seen for centuries. so perhaps we cannot entirely lament the creation of the atomic bomb. What are your thoughts on this? Whatever your conclusion, it's interesting to learn about life at Los Alamos, how civilians, scientists, and government agents lived in one of the most secret sites in America. Were you familiar with the story of Los Alamos? Would you like us to discuss more events from the Second World War? Leave your response in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more similar videos. Also activate the notification bell so that YouTube lets you know when we upload a new video. We upload videos every week, so don't miss out. You won't regret it.